Tamatha Paul.
Kia ora te māngai. My question is to the Prime Minister. E tautoko ana ia i ngā kōrero me ngā mahi katoa a tōna kāwanatanga.
Yes. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes.
How can he say that this government represents all New Zealanders when he refuses to go outside and front the tens of thousands of New Zealanders gathered here today?
Our position is very clear. We had a delegation from the National Party representing our position, receiving the hikoi and making clear our point of view, which is that we're not supporting the bill beyond first reading and therefore it won't become law.
Why is that crowd of tens of thousands of people not good enough for him to go out there and front the decision that he just made?
I reject the characterisation of that question. As I said, the National Party sent a delegation out representing our position to receive the hikoi. I've also met with iwi leaders up and down the country and will continue to do so.
What's the point of meeting with iwi leaders across the country when their clear demand is for the government to kill the bill, and he has not done that with all of the opportunities that he has had to abandon this bill?
The first part of your question, the reason I meet with iwi leaders is because we want to improve outcomes for Maori and non-Maori. When we see 12% of Maori getting to high school at the standard they need to be for mathematics because of the previous government, that's not great. When we see the number of Maori young kids in emergency motel accommodation and the work that we've done subsequently since coming to government to take them out of there to put them into a proper house, that's the stuff that we talk about. When we work with Waikato Tainui to make sure we're working on social housing, that's the work that we're interested in, making sure we improve outcomes for Māori, not this stuff.
This is not going to be a day where there's a great deal of tolerance for repeated interjections that are more of an insult than anything else. Tamatha Paul.
Why would he give false hope to New Zealanders that their voice matters when he has said that the bill will be killed at second reading?
Well, it's been a long-standing position of the National Party. We came to a compromise under an MMP environment in forming a coalition government. We agree on many, many things between the three parties in this coalition government. We don't agree on this. We came to a compromise. We're not supporting it beyond first reading. It won't become law.
The Honourable David Seymour.
Can the Prime Minister tell the House which of the following two organisations is most supportive of charter schools kura horua? Is it A, the Green Party, or B, the Iwi Chairs Forum?
It's Iwi Chairs Forum, but they're also very supportive, many iwi, about what we're doing around fast-track legislation, which is actually getting things built in this country. And I would really ask the member to actually get her party to support the fast-track legislation. If you care about climate change and the oil and gas ban, support fast-track legislation and get them behind that agenda.
The Right Honourable Winston Peters. Point of order, the Honourable Kieran McAnulty.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Speaker's rulings make it quite clear that ministers are not to introduce new material into the answers. The question was quite clear, and in my view was questionable, but nevertheless we don't dispute that. It was allowed in, and so we go with it. But the question was about charter schools. It wasn't about fast track. It wasn't about deep sea mining or anything else that the Prime Minister introduced. He shouldn't have been allowed to carry on with that.
Well, that might be your view, but when the primary question says all statements and actions, and I think it's fair game for anything that gets introduced. Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Can I ask the Prime Minister as to whether it's a fact that in the classical Maori way of former times and around the country still of late, that if they want someone to speak to them, they usually invite you to come along, and they didn't, because the Maori Party told them they didn't want to see anybody else.
Point of order, Ricardo Mendes-Mas.
I think on both last questions, we have seen patsy questions being asked, very much attacking parties of the opposition in the very specific line of questioning, including naming them. And so I just wanted to check with you, Mr. Speaker, for your guidance around whether that's an adequate use of patsies.
You've got to be kidding. The opening sup was about why the Prime Minister didn't turn up to speak to the hikoi today. Now, we're still on the same question. The member who just asked the question hasn't had us up to that point. The Right Honourable Winston Peters, ask it again.
Is it not, Prime Minister, the case that in classical Maori behaviour in former times and around the rohi of late is to, when they want to speak to someone, ask them to come and speak, but in this case they did not ask political party leaders to speak. More importantly, Maori told them not to come.
It's true I wasn't invited to speak, but my message to the general audience at the Hikoi is the same. We will not support the bill beyond first reading, and therefore it won't become law.
Supplementary.
A point of order. The Honourable David Seymour.
Mr Speaker, I did not want to interrupt the question or the answer to that last supplementary, but as you concluded your ruling, a member, I think Ricardo Menendez-Marsh, called out...
Sorry, can you just say that again? I just missed
Yes.
that.
As you concluded your ruling before that supplementary, an opposition member, I think Ricardo Menendez-Marsh, called out in response to your ruling, embarrassing. Now, I think if we're going to uphold standards in the House and that sort of thing, contesting a Speaker's ruling like that should be called out.
No, I think it was self-admonishment. He was embarrassed that he didn't realise we were on the same question. Tamatha Falls.
How are people supposed to trust him when he's willing to compromise on the founding document of our country in his coalition agreement?
Well, New Zealanders can trust us that we're going to deliver for improving outcomes for Māori and non-Māori. That is why this government is working so incredibly hard to rebuild the economy, because Māori want higher incomes, Māori want better quality housing, Māori want much better quality educational outcomes, and they want access to timely quality healthcare as well. That's what this government's focused on.